everybody, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time visiting me, welcome. My name is Tiffany. If you are coming back to spend some more quality time with me, thank you for continuing to come back and to share my journey and experiences. Today's video is going to be about my physical and emotional abuses as a child and their impacts they had on me going into adulthood. Don't forget to subscribe. Started today with my story time. I just want to acknowledge all the people that I've connected with since I started posting my stories. Thank you guys for feeling safe enough to share your experiences with me. And I just want to say for anyone who's been abused that abuse is never ever the victim's fault. It's unfortunate that our cultures or even society encourages us to be silent about these issues or make us feel embarrassed, but we should never have any shame because it's not our fault. So I hope that this channel will be a safe place for anyone who has experienced abuse of any kind, whether a child or an adult, can come and share their stories or come and watch my videos and can relate and know that there is life after abuse and you can be happy and you can be healthy. So with that said, let me just go ahead and get started with today's video about physical and emotional abuse and how it really impacted me for a long time in life. So if you are joining me from my previous videos, you know that I experienced sexual abuse for the majority of my childhood. And before I get into the physical abuse, which will be brief, because I do understand that the videos can be really heavy and can maybe even trigger others who've been abused. So I will just say that, yes, I always had food and shelter from my caregiver, and I was still physically abused. I was physically abused mostly during my teenage years. Like as a young child, I would get spankings or whatnot, which were appropriate. But as I hit my preteen, teenage years, that's when physical abuse began. I'm saying abuse in terms of having my head slammed against the wall, being yanked by my ponytail and dragged down the hall, been hit in the face with an open or a closed fist, having, like for one incident that really sticks out in my head is that my caregiver was really upset that I continued to, I had long hair at the time and I continued to put my hair into the ponytail. It was very easy for me to maintain that way, just brush into the ponytail, go. I had this little swoop that was struggle swoop, it was a struggle. But that was my go-to hairstyle as a preteen teenager, and my caregiver became upset because I continued to put my hair on the same style every day. So the person grabbed me by my ponytail and then began to beat me in the face with a brush because they wanted me to wear a different hairstyle. In my attempts to kind of shield myself and not be harmed, the person then began slamming my head against the sink in the bathroom and somehow ended up trying to stuff my face in the toilet because I was wearing a ponytail. I experienced a lot of physical abuse during my preteen, teenage years to the point that I became suicidal. When I was 15, I had just gotten beaten really bad, and honestly I can't remember over what, because usually a lot of times when I received these types of physical abuse, it was for no reason. I often spent my preteen, teenage years walking on eggshells. The incident that led to me becoming suicidal was I was awaking around 4 a.m. one Saturday morning to take our laundry to the laundromat, which is across our apartment building's parking lot. I'm not the eldest child, so I'm not sure why I was chosen to help with the laundry. Nevertheless, I was waking up told to slide on some shoes that did not belong to me. They were significantly larger than my feet. And then I was given laundry bags that were stacked up. And my caregiver believed I was moving too slow and we were going to lose the laundry washers. And proceeded to then yank me up on my ponytail and, slam my head against the wall, punch me a few times. So then we take the laundry, come back. I remember thinking I was going to lay down, but my caregiver was upset with me and I wasn't allowed to really go back to sleep. Fast forward a little bit later in the morning, I remember going into the bathroom afterwards and looking at my face, and it just had markings on it. And I'm a chocolate woman, and it's not necessarily easy to bruise me. Nevertheless, I just remember looking like, oh, it sucks. And I remember I stopped crying around 12 because I felt it gave my caregiver joy to see me cry. So still to this day, I kind of have difficulty crying. I just hold it in if I feel like I need to. So I remember just staring at my reflection in the mirror and just, I'm like, I feel like the tears are coming, but instead I just hold them in. And my caregiver then makes me come out of the bathroom. My caregiver takes everything out of all of the kitchen cabinets. The food, the plates, just everything. Cleared all the pantry, all the cupboards. Took everything out the refrigerator, threw everything on the floor. And was like, you're going to clean this up from top to bottom. The house better be clean before I get back. Took my siblings. They went to the movies. And I was instructed to have the house clean before they return, or it was going to be my butt. I remember just looking at the mess in the kitchen and then going back into the bathroom and looking at my face that was a little bruised. And I just had enough. Like the combination of like the sexual abuse and then getting physically abused started, because I wasn't always physically abused. So I feel like just the combination of the both, it was too much to bear for me as a teenager. So I remember just sitting down on the floor in front of the refrigerator with my back on the refrigerator, and I seen a knife just sitting there. I was like, this could be a way out for me. And I remember just breaking down in tears and just crying and crying, because I'm like, God, I don't want to die, but I can't live like this anymore. And why does this keep happening to me? Why me? Why not my siblings? It was just too much to bear. So I decided I was going to kill myself. I picked up the knife and I decided I was going to slash my wrist. Then, in the midst of me literally pressing down, it came to me, oh my gosh, it's Saturday, Zena's gonna come on. And I was introduced to Zena a few weeks prior by someone, like an old classmate. And I remember just enjoying it and loving it and seeing this strong woman who's going around protecting herself, saving other people. I just thought it was so amazing. And I used to often fantasize about like being Zena's sidekick, or that Zena was gonna come and rescue me. And I just remember, oh my gosh, Zena's coming on tonight. But I was like, shoot, you're punished. You're not going to be able to watch Zena. Let's just go ahead, proceed forward, and cut my wrist. I actually ended up debating for several minutes on, should I commit suicide or should I try to watch Xena Warrior Princess? Ultimately, I was like, forget it. I'll kill myself, and when I die, I'll know everything that happens, and I'll know what happens on Xena. Then I started saying, oh my gosh, if I commit suicide, they say you'll go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. But then I said, okay, well, I'll just slice my wrist, and I'll repent before I pass away, and God will know that I'm sorry. He'll forgive me. I'll go to heaven, and then I'll be able to watch the Xena from heaven. And I said, what happens if that doesn't pan out? So I'm having a whole debate with myself on, should I wait to kill myself just because I want to see Xena, or should I just go ahead and risk maybe missing Xena if, I don't end up in heaven after suicide. Clearly, I decided that I wanted to see Xena more than kill myself. So I said, I'm going to try to find some way to see Xena that night, and then I was going to proceed forward with my plans after Xena went off. That night, so I got up, I cleaned up the kitchen, and that night, I don't know how I got to see Xena, but I do remember that there were times that my brother, we shared the TV in the room, and when we were not punished, I'd get hours, he'd get hours, sort of thing. But I was punished, so he had the TV. I do remember times when I would be punished, he would put on Xena, and the caregiver would walk past the room and be like, I said no TV, Tiffany. And my brother would be like, no, I'm watching it. But I'd be kind of sitting with my back to the TV and looking over whenever the caregiver wasn't around. So I'm wondering if that's what happened. I can't remember. But ultimately, I got to watch Xena. And I remember when it went on commercial before the last little bit was over. And I just felt like, I got to see it before I passed away. Yay. I feel complete. Let's get this done. Came back from commercial, and you know how they used to do previews on the next time on Xena. So the preview came on, and I said, oh God, I have to watch it. It just looked so amazing, so cool. And I was like, I gotta watch it. And I also was disappointed because that meant I had to live another week. So I rescinded it and said, fine, I'll stay alive one more week so I can see this next Xena episode, and then I will kill myself. Next week came, got to watch Xena. I did everything I could to make sure that I did not get any type of attention that would deem me on punishment so that I could watch Xena. Xena came on site, amazing, said great, I can die in peace. Preview came on next time on Xena, and gosh darn good, I had to see it again. And this literally happened day after, or weekend after weekend after weekend, until the overwhelming urge to kill myself subsided. Then there came a time where Xena actually wasn't enough, and I couldn't wait till Saturday to see Xena. It was just too long of a time for me, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not willing to stay alive for the rest of the week and deal with this. Forget it. I'll take the risk and just go forward with my plans to attempt suicide. Then Xena started coming on 3 times a week. And I said, what? So I started skipping school and everything. I have no idea how I passed the 9th grade because I literally was never there. And when the 3 times a week wasn't enough, Xena literally started coming on every single day, like 3 to 4 times a day. There is a time where I was not in school at all because I was skipping to make sure I was home to watch Xena at like 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. I was on it. And then the feeling to commit suicide faded again. Xena was literally all that I had to keep me going until I developed a relationship with God, which I'll talk about in my next video. But if anybody ever wanted why I got this tattoo right here of the Xena chakram, that's why, because there was a point in time where I became really suicidal, and the only thing that kept me wanting to live was to see Xena Warrior Princess and fantasizing about the fact that she was going to come and rescue me and save me from the life that I was living. I was also emotionally abused during the same time that I was physically abused, those preteen, teenage years. Examples of emotional abuse, meaning for me, I was often called fat. I was told when I had really long hair, I was told, oh, your hair is nappy. Then my caregiver took me to the salon for the first time, and unbeknownst to me, I'll get my hair cut, and it was like this, this cut with bangs, and then the back was shaved. And then I started getting called nappy-headed, bald-headed, and then it ultimately was allowed to grow out to like this bob, but I was still nappy-headed, bald-headed, fat. I was told, I wish you were never born. And you know, no matter how many times you say it, even if it's only one time, that's something that you will never forget. You never forget those words. Like somebody says, words can be forgiven but not forgotten. And the next thing I'm going to say, I guess, is subjective. I thought there was favoritism in my household where siblings were preferred to me and were treated better than me, did not have the experiences that I had with my caregiver that I had. And I felt like I would see my siblings getting emotional and physical, like affection and love and encouragement, and I didn't receive that. So just the combination of being sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, and then it caused several issues that followed me into adulthood. I had issues with rejection, feeling like I would never try for things or say that I wanted something or someone because I feared being rejected by that person. I dealt with people always saying that I was cold, distant, or lacked affection. And it's not that I was cold. I just got to a point in my childhood where I became numb. And I was numb for a significant amount of time. And the rare occasions that I did feel anything, I would put up a facade that I didn't. So I would show no emotions on my face, even if I wanted to hug someone, because my body for most of my life was not my own. People did whatever they wanted to me, whether it was sexually or physically, as an abuse. My body wasn't my own, so if someone said, oh, you know, I want to hug you, and I had the opportunity to be like, no, then I said no, because this is something I could finally control. I also had attachment issues going into adulthood where I literally, whether person, place, or thing, I had no attachment. Nothing was important or something that I couldn't live without. Everything was disposable because I had not learned to develop feelings of value towards people or things. This led to me moving around a lot. This led to me not developing quality relationships. I don't know what it is about me that makes people just draw to me and just want to be friends. But I haven't, in my early adulthood, I wasn't capable of befriending people on a genuine level. I was good at faking it, but I wasn't able to because in here I was damaged at the time. I couldn't bond, I couldn't attach. I had to really kind of just fake it for a while until I got to the point where I was able to turn my emotions back on and able to process all of my pain and my hurt so that I could heal and experience love and experience companionship and things that will make me want to attach to a person, attach to one location. I also struggled with abandonment issues for a while because I felt like I was abandoned once upon a time when my caregiver relocated to Chicago with my sister. My brother was left with his father. I didn't have a father. And after school got out, I was looking around like, I ended up at my grandparents' house being told, oh, your caregiver surely had to tell you they were moving to Chicago. And I was like, no one told me. So it was a big debate on whether someone told me or not. But I think at the age that I was, even though I was in elementary, someone would have, like, I would have remembered someone saying to me, I'm moving to Chicago without you. So I really felt abandonment in that moment, because how can my siblings all have plans made from them in that person's relocation, but I didn't. And then I struggled with, well, how could you move and not take me but take another sibling? And I dealt with a lot in that time frame. I felt hurt and devalued and unwanted. Also, as I transitioned into my mid to early late 20s, that's when I realized that my entire life I had depression. And I didn't know it because I was so used to being unhealthy and unhappy that was my baseline. I thought that was what I was supposed to feel like, until I started, I don't know, when did I turn on my emotions? I turned them on in later 20s, but when I hit that switch and I started feeling joy and I started feeling things like sadness and just processing emotions, that's when I realized that I felt my entire life was not okay. Another consequence of my abuse and traumas, I not only had boundary issues, I had mommy issues. Boundary issues meaning I got to a place because I have tried to stick up for myself so much in life, and literally I was physically assaulted trying to protect myself. I developed this fear where I couldn't, if I was wrong, I would be involuntarily silent, like I would go mute, and I couldn't voice my fear or my concerns to protect myself because I didn't want to be harmed physically. I didn't want someone to assault me because I was standing up for myself. And that plagued me for many years, where I wanted to say, no, hey, this is happening, or this is wrong, this is an injustice, but I couldn't. Mommy issues meaning that I found myself as a young adult trying to force my way into the life or attach to women who could not attach back to me because it would be inappropriate, like a teacher or an employer. You know, they have to have boundaries. And I think I found myself trying to do that to women who were unavailable because I know I had that rejection thing where, okay, well, I know that ultimately they cannot actually have that type of relationship with me. So I already know that it's not going to happen. So I'm not really getting rejected. I am not going to get hurt. But if I were to try to pursue a more maternal relationship with someone who was actually available for that sort of relationship, then I actually risked being rejected. Not gonna happen. I also was deemed distant or cold to people. People used to say that the running joke in college was that people would look at me and be like, what's going on in your head? You're empty, your eyes are empty, you might be a serial killer. What's that thing people used to sing to me? They used to sing like there was just nothing in there. And I'm like, they were half right. I was empty or pretending or putting up a wall to safeguard myself. I have another story time video coming up that I will share with you guys how I finally found peace, forgiveness, wholeness, joy, how I started dealing with my depression and the moments of anxiety that I had from other events in life, my coping mechanisms. I'm going to share it all with you guys in the next story time video. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for giving me this safe space to share my experiences with you, to create an environment where other people can come and share their stories, as well as know that we are here and we're not gonna keep it inside anymore because our abusers are ashamed of their actions. So welcome, subscribe, hit the notification button so you can see anytime that I upload videos. I hope you guys are enjoying my other videos that I have been posting. I'm on social media, so you can follow me on Instagram or Snapchat at Tiffany Stewart. And I will see you guys soon. Take care.